and girls and boys attack helicopters, super intelligent shades of the colour purple, and small yellow teddy bears, or whatever it is that you identify as. Who on earth are we to say you're none of those things? If you say you are, then it's so. It's been a while. It's been a long while since we chatted. For those that don't recognise this young man here, this is my good friend Nial Funchion, who is a carnivore of some repute, or ill repute, if you like. Furthermore, a swimmer of some ability, which he'll talk about in a bit, I'm sure. And, yeah, a bunch of other things as well. So look, enough from me already. Nial, bring us up to date. How long has it been, young man, since we chatted?
Oh, geez, it must be at least 2 years now.
I think so. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. The world went nuts, of course, for a couple of years, didn't it? But yeah, I think we're okay now. I mean, I was turned into a newt personally, but I'm okay now. I got better. Yeah. A newt. So what's been happening? 2 years.
It continues to be so. It continues to be absolutely a high level of craziness out there. You know, there's a lot of residual effects or something. I mean, you can see it clearly, you know, and there's no talking to them, you know. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So last we spoke, about 2 years ago, you had this plan that you were going to do a bit of a swim, a few strokes in between a couple of islands there in Hawaii. That was, how long was the swim you were going to do? Remind us again.
28 miles.
Right. So luckily, the world went insane and stopped you from attempting such a mad, crazy feat. And have you got anywhere near actually being able to attempt this, or is there still obstacles in the way? What's going on with it?
Well, you know what? I held on using Lake Michigan. All the pools were closed, all the training facilities. I went back to my old gym back on the south side. I'm in Chicago and way up north by O'Hare, and the old school gym. I mean, Schwarzenegger still works out there. I mean, it's old school guys. And where I used to live above it, it was crazy. But it was open, and I went back there, and it was like nothing's changed, and nothing has changed the guys inside the gym. Like they adhered to all the craziness. You walked in, it was like freedom. So I'm like, okay, this is my spot. So we got after it, and nothing. The only difference was all the places it was like I was being squeezed out of the pools. You know, the plexiglass went up and the mask came on, and then you had to have your card to go in. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do this. You know, and I felt very confident that it's becoming ridiculous. And everybody went the other way. And I'm like, I don't belong here anymore. It was a really hard thing. So I concentrated on rebuilding strength from being kind of torn down from long swims. Because at the end of training for a marathon swim, you get kind of beat up pretty good. And so I was tracking to go to Molokai, to Hawaii, at 3 different times, and I was ready. But getting on the other side, you had to be quarantined for 2 weeks, and I'm like, I was calling Hawaii to my boat guy, the guy giving me the atmospherics on the other side, and he's telling me, you know what? Don't even bother. Because you're going to blow the taper at the end. And he was right. And he was a very honest guy. So it was depressing. It was literally super depressing to be able to not do that, not get on the plane. And so I'm like, okay, I have not forgotten this. There has not been a day that has not been, I am training for it like it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it worked out this way. I'm like, okay. So back 2 years ago, I'm like, I'll just swim Molokai and I will have been, 58. So I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine. I never even thought of what's the world record? Like, is there an oldest guy who has ever done this? And that guy's 60 years old. Well, I got a hold of Guinness World Record to see if I could qualify for something like this. Contacted England, put in a resume, and they approved it. So August, September, October, somewhere around there in 2026 will be that day.
Wow.
So I'm gonna earn my beach spot in Hawaii in 2026. And it worked out really well. And although it's, that far away, it's not. It's not. It's like tomorrow. And it's like a little, it's like a secret journey to go there. It's not like it's a conversation piece I have often, because there's so much part of it. And being 60 years old and looking forward to being 60 years old to be able to do this is crazy. I mean, it's like if you're talking to someone about that, it's almost mind blowing. And the typical questions would come up is like, why you want to do that? How you going to do that? It's very, very complicated. And it's something I've been doing for such a long time. And it's not like I'm an Olympic swimmer. I'm just a regular guy, that wants to get and wonders, I wonder if I could get to the other side of this. And, if you were to ask me, I was having a conversation with a guy, and it's not registering in his brain, like what I'm talking about. And I dropped this on him after about talking to him for about 2 years. And I try to spin him into the carnivore diet and nutrition and things like that, but it went nowhere. It's very, very, very hard. You're just fighting so much. You're fighting people's ecology, their habit change, their influences over a course of a lifetime, to be able to switch their thinking into nutrition is super potent. And it's the only thing, and you can be in complete control of so much in your life if you just make those choices. And it breaks my heart that people would, if you're not making the correct choices and you're not doing your own due diligence in following and like learning how important this is at any one time into whatever you're doing. I mean, and every part of the human species, like in your everything, it's incorporated, like your mentality, your spirit, your everything is involved in your diet. And that word, man, it just drives me insane. It's not potent enough, to even capture the level of possibilities that you could even attain through a diet. And I talk about, and in this conversation with him, he would ask me, why do you want to do this? Like, why you training like this so much? And I go, well, I'm doing it very, very incrementally, waiting for a day. Well, what's the day about? I go, I'm going to meet this guy on the beach. It's not even about the swim. It's about the showing up part, earning my beach spot. Only one person does this. That's me. I want that spot. I want that voice, and it completely fueled everything. Absolutely everything in my life is fueled around. I'm so thankful that I have found and was able to wrap my mind around 6 years ago, the potency of the proper fuel source. And it's mind blowing. It goes against the grain of everything you have been told, fed, forever, for as long as I've been on the planet. Mm. And I'm like, how could anyone, with good intentions give you advice other than the proper fuel source, a carnivore diet? It becomes, you start to see the sinister element of this and the selfishness and the greed involved, and how bigger players are playing the little guy. Now, I'm a little guy, and I'm trying to do something very, very big. There is no way I can do this eating the way I was before, and those habits and those behaviors I was 6 years ago. And that's 6 years ago. This all started overseas when I was in Iraq. And it was unbelievable within weeks. I couldn't believe it. And I've never changed. And going back and forth, like I was doing 6 month stints over there, and then sometimes 3 months, and, for about 2 years. I would go right back to the same swimming spot or the gym or whatever. And I can see the differences even in people's attitudes, like nothing has changed, and they've gotten, and these are really good athletes, and they were getting heavier. And, the typical thing would be, well, I just gained a couple of pounds. And just by learning this, I'm like, learning all the, not all, but if you learn just a little, like a few things, and then revolve your life around it, like insulin resistance, like figure out what that is. You don't have to get crazy about it. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, but I know that. I go, okay, you know what? That makes a lot of sense to me. And everybody's saying it, the guys that I trust, like yourself. What is this? And how do I make this not a part of my life? How do I make inflammation not a part of my life? Inflammation and insulin resistance, those seems to be those two elements are so common in it's almost like an underground conversation with carnivore diet and proper fuel sources, that I'm like, I zeroed in on that, and the effects were crazy. I am, I could stay at it. I could dial it down. So scientifically, I even have my log here for you. I wanted to show you. I log everything, and I train really hard. I'm 57 now, and I don't mind telling people my age. I like it. I love my age. I'm ready to kick ass, man. You know, I really want to, I can't wait to be 60. What? You know, to wrap my mind around even saying that is craziness. I want to earn that spot on that beach. I want to be able to get to the other side of Molokai and earn the right to be able to meet that guy, the new Nial, standing on the beach. You know, like the guy right now, like that we're talking to, I can't swim Molokai. I'm not ready for it. I have to wrap my mind around it. I'm still, I conveniently push myself back out so I can have a mental break. It's not, the guy right now is not, I still have to, there's an awful lot of mental hurdles that I have to get over. I have to meet those places that I successfully swam other long events in my life. And I have to exceed those. I know what those are like. Those are hard. It's lonely. It's dark. It's cold. Do I want to accept that? Do I want to, really lean into it? Will I have the courage to be able to do that? I've never been 60 before, and it really complicates things when you get, when you start pushing the envelope. You have to be very incremental in your training, but always forward, always going. And it's an everyday, I work every single day. And I train every day. And if I want a day off, I will earn it. I have to earn it. So it's the mentality is very, very Spartanish, and I like that. And there's no way to get there. I wish I had the Jordan Peterson language to be able to tell you this, but it is absolutely imperative and also a little depressing because it's so easy. This is so easy. I am on no medication. I don't even take an aspirin. I can't even remember, and I'll do, I will push it for like a PR, a personal record in the gym or in the pool. And I am not sore. I'm so not sore. It's unbelievable. I have to look in my calendar. I have to literally say, you have to do this day, because I can't remember the next day, because usually you're sore. Like if you do squats or something, you're going to feel it. You're like, oh, I did squats yesterday. Okay. Yeah. I need another day. That is not even in my conversation. I have to actually look on a calendar. Did I do this week? Did I hit this mark? And I have to actually consciously look back and say, yeah, I did. I marked it as a PR that day, or with a pound or whatever that would mean at that point. So I'm tracking really perfectly, and I'm really good at tracking that far out. Blueprinting this training evolution. It's the longest one I've ever done, and when I meet that guy, the new Nial, I will have been
Okie dokie. We'll wait for Nial to come in. Here we go. You're back. You just froze for a moment, but you're back again. It says my internet is unstable. How rude.
Oh,
my internet is not unstable. There's nothing unstable in this house. Goodness. So you were just saying that when you meet the new Nial on the beach at the other end, at the end of what is going to end up being a 9 or 10 year program to get you to that point, on the
correct.
basis that you were going to do this some years ago, and obviously the world situation dictated that you will not be doing this right now because we have other ideas for you, young man. Right.
That's exactly right.
Pick up from there.
And so it'll be. I have. These are my training logs. I have about 40 of these. I track them every year.
Okay.
To see what's going on, and sometimes I go back and 10 years to see. I wonder what I was doing 10 years ago, and I'm hitting that mark 10 years ago. Just by, just by habit, and I think it's very nonchalant. Like if I wake up excuse me, Bart, if I wake up in the morning, it's a non-negotiable to either swim or lift.
Right.
Every day, and there's no thought about it. It's just go. And I'll get up at 4:00 every morning. That's pretty typical. And I'll work all day too. It's not like I'm not doing anything. And I am very, very vigilant. It's the nature of what I'm doing over here in Chicago. And you're really on point all day. And it's taxing. And it's all fueled from a carnivore diet. And I'll eat in my car. So the downside of this little secret journey of mine is I only have maybe 3 or 4 hot meals a month. Everything is eaten cold in my car, in my office, you can say. Most conversations are done in my car also, except today. I wanted to be special for this one.
Of course.
Since I haven't heard, since I haven't talked to you in such a long time, But I mean, I consider myself unbelievably fortunate to have jumped at this opportunity. And I can't even remember what put the bug in my head. But if I was to guess, like back when I was in Iraq, I was leaving for Iraq with, I need to swim Molokai. Not thinking that I'm going to a country that is, I'm not sure if they have a pool or not. It's unlikely, but it worked. Unbelievable, and then that went from one country to another. And going there, I was looking for a fuel source. That's it. To swim 28 miles. It didn't make sense to me. The typical thing everybody thinks when you say marathon or these buzzwords that, put in people's brains, is, you're going to have energy. I said, yeah, I guess. And I'm just kind of like, well, what do I know? But it doesn't make sense to me. So typically what I would do in my past would be, I would have those little goos, or I'd have something in my Speedo, to get me through, 4 or 5 hour training swim or something like that. It didn't make sense to throw down 200 calories, and you're swimming every hour. I mean, you're going to exceed the input-output program. And I'm like, well, that never makes sense to me. I said, there's got to be a better way. What are you going to have, a giant cart? You're going to pull on a cart and have a smorgasbord? And it's a pain in the ass to tread water and chew on something. I'm like, how about we don't eat? How's that sound? And we don't screw up the momentum, and we stay and we get faster as we go along. How's that? That's my thinking. I go, and that's unorthodox, but not in this world. stay carnivore, show up just a little bit hungry, and open up the stores of relying on fat as fuel, and don't slam the door behind you by using carbohydrates. That's my thinking. And just by saving those 4 or 5 minutes every 50 minutes times 28, I should slam this thing. And I should be faster at the end than at the beginning as the stores open up, as your fuel source becomes more and more abundant, and as your body's pulling it out of you, out of your muscles, out of your liver, out of everywhere it needs to be. But you have to have access to that immediately. Like that's the plan. And I feel so confident in that. And I play with it all the time. And I'm like right there. Like, as an example, it wouldn't be like I would fast. I'm kind of playing with fasting now. What an easy thing. It is. I don't even think about it. Here's what fasting has become a break from cooking. Do I need a break from cooking today? Yeah. You know what? I think I'm just going to fast. And I get better in the gym. I go, how's this making sense? It is absolutely unorthodox as opposed to the sinister thinking before that's just going to kill your health. And doing a 24, 36-hour fast is really a nothing to me, which is perfect. And then you wonder, how is this going to affect the gym? Because nothing's changed. I don't like back off because I'm fasting. I go a little bit harder. And I'm right there. Like I'm right there so fine. Like every day. I've worked up to a plateau, and I'm holding that plateau for the next 2 years. 39 and a half months. That's where I'm holding it. And it's an everyday hold. And it's very, very fine. Like going left or right of that line is I could tell my performance, just like you might have a little virus in you or something that you might have the flu coming on. You could kind of tell, like 2 days out, you're like, I'm not right. Same thing in a gym. And the fasting is easy. And it's a good indication of like where I'm at, like in 39 months when I go to Hawaii. I go, man, my plan is going to work, and this is coming from someone that I am not a scientist, I am just a guy like going to Molokai and I really want this. It's such a journey that is deep. It's like Mariana's Trench deep. And I need to do it. And this is the fix. This is the one, and I love that it's complicated by an age factor, a pandemic factor, a panicademic factor.
Yep.
the not having the words to even express, why you want to do this, how you're going to do this. It's very metaphorical to me. Like I could express it in a metaphor. Like someone will ask me, well, how are you going to do this? I said, well, I'm going to write a will. I'm going to pray for courage. I'm going to show up. That's it. How's that sound? And they just walk away. But that's true. That is absolutely true. You write a will, so you will have no excuses. It's very hard. Very hard. There's no safe. That's the first thing people say to me. Like if they ever, like they hear my background, they're like, well, are these things safe? I go, no, they're not safe. They're not safe at all. You have to bring your own safe. And it starts with your fuel source. You have to be really confident in that. And that confidence, bleeds into other areas of your life. And here's an example. Well, everybody's losing their mind in I call it the panic epidemic. And there is a thing called natural immunity, which didn't really get said a lot. And I have a long history of reading through things because that's what I did for a living. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. The confidence that I had knowing that my metabolic health was being taken care of by my fuel source and by this journey was unbelievable. I've never been so confident in my life. It really makes no sense. And what a great time to be confident. While everybody was looking for someone else to bring the safe to them, you knew that you were safe through you knew you put on armor because of your fuel source. And I'm telling you, it was such a hidden gem to be able to just walk through everything, and I was not deterred at all, and I avoided conversations because I didn't really, I have it in me. It was exhausting,
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it was a wonderful time in a weird way. And it was all part of Molokai. It all worked, because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just went through, I'm having this conversation with myself. I'm like, I just went through what is going to detour people and going to send them right into psychotherapy. And I am absolutely confident. And I am not that guy. I'm the guy that had a cheat in biology class. Sorry. But I am so confident and I see clearly right through this. And it's all from a fuel source that started 6-7 years prior. And I go, wow. I mean, it was like if you want to bring, it's philosophical, it's theological. It really exposed so much. It exposed people's bravery, something you can't fake. And it really, it helped me identify, I'm this guy, I'm tracking the right way, not only in training, but, fuel source and mental stability. And this is a good path to be on, that you don't know what else is going to be exposed or what other avenues going to go make themselves present to you, as opposed, because of your tracking this way. And being that it's going to be 120 months when I meet this new guy is an incredible potency to it. Being that all carnivore, all. I could tell you what I had for dinner 6 years ago because it's the same damn thing. And I care less. I look forward to every single meal. And it's the same thing. Blows my mind. It's like feeding a dog. he gets so excited, and you buy the same stuff every single time out of convenience. The same thing. And it makes it so obvious that, you know, we're apex predators at the top of the food pyramid or food train or food. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You know, apex, but we're the guys that eat the lions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why screw that up? You know, like, wait, just go with it. Go with it and see what happens. You know? And here's the sad thing. You can't convince anybody about this. I mean, I can't. I mean, if I tell them I did this, they'd be like, oh my God, you know, what about your cholesterol? I go, what about my goddamn cholesterol, man? It's been 10 years. At what time does that present itself? It's been 10 years, man. You know, or what about your coronary artery disease? I got a CAT scan. I got a DEXA scan. I can tell you where I'm at. I could tell you what my bone density is. I could tell you what my muscle mass is, my body weight is. Not that I really care about my body weight, and it's not an aesthetic thing. It's just something I want to stay on when I show up in Hawaii. I want to be at a certain percentage, and I want to hit that mark. And I hit that mark easily. Like, there's no thinking about it. It's just a natural mark, fueled from a fuel source. It's a no-brainer. It's the simplest thing on the planet. And if you just do it for a month, just say, you know what? Even if you are petrified, just trust somebody. Just tweak yourself into getting off the carbs and all the seed oil crap, and, you know, get to that point and just say, you know what? I'm going to try this 30 days. Let's see what happens. You can always go back. You're not going to hurt yourself. There's no, even if you're not going to hurt yourself in 30 days. But you will see a difference, and you could capitalize on that difference by going another 30 days, and you'll see more improvements. Bizarre improvements. You might just have to get off your medication, whatever that is. All those chronic illnesses that most people can't even pronounce, they start disappearing. Your mental capacity, your depression, your willingness, your spirit, all improved. Now, who the hell would not want that? All within a month, 2 months, 3 months, just from a jump. Like, you're standing on the brink. You're broken. You don't even know you're broken. Try it. Go for it. Jump. That's what I keep telling people. You just got to make a jump, man. You know, you can go back and forth. Everybody has their guy that they listen to. You know, well, my guy says this, and you've never even met these people. They're on the screen. You never actually went and talked to them. Like, see, is this even a real person? Go there, investigate, put a little due diligence into it. I'm telling you, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. I love watching your videos. Love them. And it's a source of embarrassment because I am so far behind. I mean, you're making movies, and all I have to do is watch them, and I'm like 30% in. And then you go to another guy, and then another guy, and like the one denominator, it's about as scientific as I can get. The one denominator I have for myself is, if you're going to listen to anybody, listen to people who are courageous, period, who have put their licenses up, who have said, no, I'm not going to teach that. I'm not going to say that. Who have fought the big battles and got bloodied from it, and then said, you know what? I'm not going to kneel down. No, I'm not. you know, and those are the people I follow. You're one of them. You know, that when I heard your story, it was, you know, I chewed on a little bit of that in my past, and I knew, you know, I knew those feelings and that place. And it's a hard place. And then I said, okay, this guy's a keeper. Let's see what else. And that's how it started. And then I would go to the next guy and the next guy, and I would try to talk to them, actually like we are. If not, I would drive out to where they're at as a blue collar guy and sit in a room with full of doctors and just sit in the back. I go, man, this is great. And that would be my research. And I would actually talk to these people, like shake their hand and say, this is a real person. And I wonder, are you lying to me? You know? And I said, no, they're not. They're not. And I've proven by, I would take on what they're telling me and I would just go ahead and do it. And here I am 6 years later, looking forward to, or 7 actually, looking forward to the next 39 months, loving it. And I look back at this, some of the guys that I retired with. I'm not retired. I just doing something a little bit different, bumping my game. I say, you know, how do you get better? How do you beat up the guy you were yesterday? How do you keep turning this dial to the right? Just keep getting better. Keep getting better. That attitude is priceless. And that is all from, and I couldn't do it without, you know, having incremental changes in my performance, all fueled by a fuel source. That is absolute solid fact in my brain. There's no way around it. There's no way I can go through this day with the way it is, with training, working, and coming back and trying to design something that would bring people along with me. Like I'm going to Molokai. I have 39 and a half months left. And I want to bring people along with me so they can feel the changes and then they can grab people in their life. It's very difficult because of like I said before, it's an ecology thing. You know, it's not necessarily an intelligence thing. It's a slow boil over a long period of time that people were telling them the same thing over and over and over and over again. It eventually becomes solidified in your psyche someplace. And it's not at all true. And you can see that, and you can see the sinister nature of this by making that jump, because the effects of that will prove them wrong. And then you will continue. And that's habit change and behavior change. And you'll see like weird things will happen. Like I never drink anymore. I used to drink pretty good. I used to be pretty good at it and look forward to it all the time. Nope. I don't smoke. I used to smoke cigars a lot. Nope. I couldn't even, it's not even a thought. You know, I go, where did that happen? It wasn't even a thought to stop. Why, you know, I mean, it just stopped. I go, when did that happen? It wasn't like I trained to stop it, you know, like all these little dysfunctional habits that I had were just squeezed out and replaced by very functional, very forward thinking, very healthy habits. And it's all leading to Molokai. There's no way I can continue drinking and smoking cigars and make Molokai. There's no way, because it deters your performance. Now, I didn't think about giving those things up, among other things, by the way. I mean, if I was to make a list of, I think about this, but then I fall asleep because there's so many things. I mean, I'd be here all day. Of all the things I gave up, even the smallest ones, to make it on the beach at Molokai, I'd fill a book. All from changing your diet source. It makes no sense. It's freaking crazy, man. And I'm like, I'm so fortunate. I feel I found so much gold in trusting those voices and then making that jump. And I do realize that the part of me, you know, like maybe it's a personality trait or something, that if I was to try something, I don't take a lot of convincing. I go ahead and do it. And then I jump, you know, and that's the piece that's really difficult for people. There's an awful lot of fear around this. Suddenly, when you start talking about fuel sources, and then there's, then there's saving the earth and saving the animals and all that bullshit. And I'm like, oh my God, you really need to do some investigating, you know, you really do. And you'll see even that, if they're lying about you, if they're lying to you about that, what else are they lying to you about? You know, I mean, it gets sinister. And if they do that about one thing, that, you know what, they're going to do that about a lot of things. And you're going to suffer the effects, all from a belief. And you can see it tangibly on you. You can measure it through, you know, a DEXA scan. Simple, cheap things. A CAC score. Measure it there. $50. Very professional. And if you want to do the pill, everyone has the, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. I have too much fat on me. No. That's your body screaming at you. You got a lot of other things coming if you got that going on. And you should really take, in my mind, you should really jump on that right away, whatever you got to do. Your health is very, it's going to be dented through that. You know, like I got 10 pounds. I got the COVID-10 or whatever crap they put onto it. No, not at all. Negative. Get it off. Make that your priority. Get it off. And it's not aesthetic. It's health. And that's telling you something. It's just the first indicator that's presenting itself. I'm sure it wasn't the first indicator. It's just the one that's getting squeezed out. You don't know what's going on with the liver. You don't know what's going on with the kidneys. It's all squeezing in there. And now your body's telling you, hey, listen, you better take care of this. And you don't. I don't understand. I honest to God don't understand it. You know, and through a carnivore diet and, you know, this fuel source, I'm 191 all the way. I could tell you how much body fat I have. And I do not eat to do that. I just eat until I get full and I'm done. Get up about my day. I don't even think about it. It's not an entertainment thing. It's a fuel source. Go live your life. Switch that up as opposed to, oh, where are we going to go have fun today and eat? No, that's ridiculous. Eat your food, go live your life. Done. What do? We have entertainment and then we can't live our life because we're so fucked up, you know? And it's sorry, but it's so aggravating for me to see. And those little twists in your mind get you thriving. And it's it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that you know, it'd be great just to lock 30 people up. You know, like give me 30 people for a month. You're going to get on my program. You know what I mean? Mm. And it's going to be hell for a couple of weeks as you start, you know, wrapping your mind around things. But at the end of 30 days, you're good. You know, you'll be thanking me, you know, or something like that. Just lock them up. You know, like a Marine boot camp or something. You know, like you have no choice here, man. You're going to get into this. And at the end of the day, you're loving it. And there's a definite change. But I'm sorry, did I go off on, did any of this make sense to you, Bart?
Absolutely all of it. Absolutely everything you had to say. Basically, Niall, you're a legend. And that's why I've had nothing to say, because I just wanted you to tell us how it is. You know, what you've done is you've turned what is ostensibly a madness, an insanity, a craziness into your most powerful ally. You've turned that thing into the thing that makes you absolutely invulnerable, the thing that makes you bulletproof, the thing that makes you able to basically stare down anything, look the thing in the eyes and say, get fucked. You bring it, because I'm going to be standing here at the end of it, sort of thing. So I thank you very much for that. It has been an absolute seminar in and of itself on right think, right action, right self-discipline, right everything, basically, and getting rid of the wrong, taking the power away from the wrong, undercutting the wrong, and letting the wrong wash away and leave you sitting on the beach at the end of it. And you can smoke that fucking cigar on the beach if you want at that stage. Fine with me. I'll give you permission now. Ted won't mind. He says that's okay. But you won't want to. You won't want to smoke a cigar when you get there. Right. However, probably knowing you, my friend, you will get there and you'll sit down and you'll go, right, what's next? How do I top that with something even bigger now? Because there's no resting place for you. There's no achievement of the goal, and now it's sit on the beach. Maybe you'll sit there for a few minutes, but I bet within a few minutes of you sitting there on the beach going, well, that was easier than I thought. I did that. What crazy ass thing can I do next? I bet. You're a fucking loon, son. You're a loon, is what you are. You are fucking certifiably insane, is what you are. But I take my hat off. If I had a hat, I'd take it off to you, because, you know, spending that much time in the water to swim that far because it's there. But it's not just because it's there. There's more to this than that. If people were listening to what you've just said for the last 45 minutes, they'll get that it's not just because it's there. You are showing the way. You are showing the way. And I hope more people follow, frankly. And I don't necessarily mean they should get in the water and swim with you. That's not what I'm talking about. Because they shouldn't do that. That's fucking insane. What they should do, though, is follow your example in terms of right think, right action, planning, self-discipline, set a goal, knock the bastard over, and make it happen. Don't accept setbacks like some dickhead in a suit telling you that you can't go and swim this thing a couple of years ago when you were ready for it back then. Because some fucking idea about some pathogen or something. No, you can't be doing that now, or whatever, you know. No, you can't go to the gym right now, or at least you can't do it without following these guidelines on going to the gym or whatever. No, you just find a way around it. That's right. I mean, the thing that you and I share is exactly what you were talking about with the story where I'm being told what I can and can't say to groups of students who are paying good money to hear the truth. In the face of every law in every westernized country that has an academic institution set up whereby academics are allowed to hold and espouse any opinion they see fit, whether it's popular or not, actually. And here's some fat wanker in a suit saying you can't say that. And I guess, you know, what you're doing here is you're flipping the bird to that fat wanker. And you're also flipping the same bird to the fat wanker that lived inside you before you decided that fat wanker was going to die, and you were going to re-emerge from this chrysalis as this completely different creature. So I get it. I hope everybody else got it. I hope they got the value in what you've just said. That's a powerful story. It's a powerful sermon, really, is what we've had. It's been a privilege to sit and listen to it. Every time I hear Niall speak, I get heaps out of it. Every time. Because, yeah. I mean, I can go and listen to academic wankers any day of the week. But this is, you know, Niall's real. He's the real deal. So I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate it very much. We'll stop recording now and we'll have a quick chit chat before we sign off, I guess.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. Thank you. All right. See you next time. We'll get another update on where we're at and how the PPs are going and stuff. See you then.